Well, dude, I just want to, I'm grateful for you. You've seriously changed my life and just everything. Huge mentor to me. And you're 23, right?
Yeah.
So you've created a ton of success at a young age. You've made close to $500,000. You've gotten married at age 21, 22.
How old was I? I was 21 when I got married.
Wow. And now you're
Yeah.
leading a organization of over 200 people.
Yeah.
And just accomplished a ton at such a young age. What have you said has been the most impactful thing for you to create such a legacy at age 23?
Man, well, thank you first off. I
Yeah.
really appreciate that compliment, and I think likewise, Jacob. There's not a lot of people that I get to work with that are as disciplined and hardworking and as engaged as you are, and truly go all in. And so, right back at you, man. You're truly a pleasure to work with, and I'm extremely grateful for you. And I've learned a ton from you over the past 2 years working together, and it's just been so fun. Your desire to win and to be a winner at everything you do is phenomenal, and just the person you are inspires me. So
Cool.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
But for me, I guess in life, I think that I just have a hunger to be great. I truly do, and it's in everything I do. It doesn't matter what I've done in my life. I want to be the best at it, and I will work extremely, extremely hard to become the best at it. I'll work extremely, extremely hard to get in the rooms with the right people who have done it really well so that I can go do it really well. And I've been really blessed to be around some amazing people, starting from, where I came from, and the people I grew up with and my parents always put me around really good people. I've just been very blessed. I feel extremely, extremely blessed to be around so many awesome people. And so that's, I think, what's contributed to a lot of my success and let me feed that hunger to be great.
Yeah. I went to this dinner last night, and I feel like one of the most important things is just getting around the right kind of people.
Yeah.
What has that done for you as far as like being around your dad, who is a successful man, your whole family, Blake, just everyone around you? What has that done for you, being around the right kind of people?
Yeah, it's everything. And I was listening to a podcast this morning too on this, and it's like you just find the people that emulate what you want to be in that specific field and be around them, and in turn you'll learn the ways too. It's like I'm not great at everything, but if I can find someone who's great at something and be around them and emulate them and learn from them, then I will be successful. Because on my own, I truly, everyone has to learn the skills. Everyone has to go through the processes to get good at specific things. But when you're around the people that are doing the right things and are world class at something, you're going to become world class too. And so it's whatever you want to do. If you want to become an amazing basketball player, and I wish I knew this in high school a little bit more, right? I did okay in high school sports. I worked really hard, but I wish I would have found like the best high school basketball player my age in Arizona and like just hung out with him, instead of just hanging out with my guys that we played church ball together and we're all like the same level, and we're all like, oh, you made a 3-point. I don't know. It's like, dude, I think in anything in life, if you can just get around the people that are doing the best at things, you're going to become so successful. And I think of Blake Erickson. There's nobody who's grown faster and within the pest control recruiting world and within sales leadership than him. He's 2 years older than me, but he's done so much. And so I didn't always work for Blake, and at one time I really didn't want to work for Blake. Because he actually stole some recruits from me, and I was kind of mad at him. But if you can't beat him, join him, right? We learned from Kevin Durant. I have learned so much from Blake because he's the best at recruiting. He's the best sales leader I've ever been around. He's the best recruiter I've ever been around by 10x what I've ever seen. And he's willing to pour into me too, and with Blake, it's not just being around him. That not only do you just get to be around Blake, but he directly coaches me and helps me, and I come to him with a problem and he'll help me get over that. And you've experienced that too with Blake, and I think that it's so cool to have guys like him, mentors like him around us.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome. It's actually changed my life living down here in Utah. compared to Washington.
Yeah.
Because there's just no one there's people, but there's not tons of people trying to be successful in life.
Yeah.
And so just getting around the right kind of people, you'll soon become them. So definitely cool. You think you would have made it to the NBA if you got around the right kind of people at the age of 10 years old?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, my genetics, I mean, I'm 6'3", but
You can dunk.
I dunked at a time. I'm not dunking right now currently, unfortunately. I don't think so. But,
Okay.
Maybe college ball.
Cool.
Put some college ball somewhere.
Nice. And then so you went to BYU,
I did.
and then and then you went on a mission right out of high school.
Yes. So, I went on a mission before I went to BYU.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
From your mission, I guess, what is the biggest thing you learned from just serving God?
Holy cow, dude. My mission was the most impactful event in my life. And it wasn't just the fact that I learned, not just did I grow closer to God, but I learned more who I was as a person. And I think one of the biggest lessons I learned on my mission that carries with me every single day is when I was in the mission field for about, I don't know, I was in the Philippines probably for 4 or 5 months at this point. And I had a companion. As a missionary, you have a companion, someone when you're with 24/7. And we just weren't aligned, man. He was out there not to work hard, and he was out there to work hard, but maybe he was going through a tough time. I don't know, but we just weren't aligned, and it was really tough for me because I was kind of newer. I hadn't mastered the language, but I just wanted to work, man. I'm a workhorse. I wanted to get out and knock doors and go meet people and go meet members, and this guy was just kind of holding me back, and the area was tough. We hadn't found a lot of success. So yeah, I had a tough companion, hadn't found a lot of success, and I wasn't really happy. And we talk about the gospel of Jesus Christ and as a missionary, and we try to teach that it brings happiness, but I wasn't happy. And I'm like, man, I was really struggling at this point, and I was in this area, and it just wasn't good. But there was a certain day where there was a hammock outside of our apartment, and we were supposed to be working in this moment, but my companion was actually decided he wanted to take a nap, and so I was livid. But I went out and sat on this hammock, and I was just thinking to myself and kind of looking out over this balcony over the city. And in that moment, I realized that I have complete control over my joy. I can choose to be happy in any situation. And with a companion that I'm aligned with in an area that the work's not going good, I'm sweating everything off, it's tough. I was not happy. I chose in that moment that I can dictate my happiness based on a choice. And I can find joy based on a choice. And man, that moment has changed my life. Because now I just choose, there's a lot of crappy stuff that happens in life. That's inevitable.
Yeah.
But I can choose to be happy, and I know that I can choose to, I can choose to have a positive outlook on things.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's really stayed with me forever. But along with that, I learned on my mission how to plan really well, weekly plan and daily plan. Man, it's something that I got away from, but I'm getting back into and really loving.
That's cool.
Love it a ton, and I just the relationships that I gained with mission companions and of course with God, and I know more of, we talk about living our life by design, and I know what I want spiritually out of life, and so that design spiritually, what I want my spiritual life to look like, it set a really clear path for me as a missionary, what I want that to look like, and so now I just know what that plan needs to look like for the rest of my life, and now it's just, can I execute?
That's cool.
So.
I feel like a lot of times, like for you and your mission, there's going to be times where it's you have depression, you have anxiety, you have fear, you have times where you just hate being where you're at, or just different feelings. And I feel like sometimes in this world that our feelings control our actions.
Yeah.
But how did you, I know you decided to just look for joy, but for people who deal with depression, fear, anxiety, and to not take action on certain things because their feelings hold them back, how would you get over that?
That's tough. I don't struggle with depression and anxiety like I know some people do.
Yeah.
I've definitely had a fair amount of anxiety in my life and things like that. But one thing that I've done in those moments, when it kind of, when you're not acting because of it, I think the biggest thing you do is reflect on gratitude and kind of look at what you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And that can kind of get your headspace out of it's kind of a negative headspace. So you got to flip the switch a little bit and get it in a positive light. And so I think that's number one, is maybe do a gratitude journal. If you're kind of in that moment, write down 10 things you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing too was just get out of the environment that you're currently in. Go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just truly in a moment where anxiety and depression's hitting hard, like just get out, go for a walk, like decompress, get some sunlight, and reflect on gratitude. And I think too that our brains are so powerful, and I know it sounds cliche, and a lot of the people that might have depression and anxiety might not like this, but I truly think that you can choose joy. You can choose to just say, hey, look, this sucks. This brings me down, or this gets me anxious, but I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to try my best to choose happiness and choose joy and push through this thing.
Yeah.
And so that's been me. That's been my mindset. And, even in summer sales and the job that we work in recruiting, there's so many things that go bad. And I just choose joy, and I choose to push through it. And anytime there's a negative thing, and now as a leader, it's like a lot of the guys that I manage go through hard things, and I have to be the one to, hey, it's okay, man. Like, let's push through this. And so when I get the bad news or when something bad happens, I quickly turn to joy and try to just be like, hey, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. It's a long answer, but that's what I would do.
No, that's good. I feel like also Blake was talking about this yesterday. As far as in life, there's so many limiting beliefs we have.
Yeah.
And I feel like it holds us back from the potential we actually can be. And I know Gary Vee talks about a ton where it's like we had a 400 trillion chance to 1 to be a human being, and the highest power on earth that God created. And I feel like so many people don't realize that or aren't grateful for it. But what have you done as far as just getting over limiting beliefs, either financially, health, everything? Like, what has you've seen success in just breaking barriers in your mind?
Yeah, dude, everyone has limiting beliefs. I have a ton.
Yeah.
I seriously do still. And I think the way that we're raised.
What's your biggest one?
Oh, dude, you're making me vulnerable here. I don't know. One right now, so to be vulnerable with you, I don't own any real estate properties.
Mm-hmm.
And limiting belief that I have is it's really hard to get into one.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done plenty of other investing. I've invested in real estate, and I have investments in real estate, but I personally do not own any real estate, like none in my name, right? Mm-hmm. I have money in real estate and other things. But I have this limiting belief that it's really, really hard to get into properties, and it's really, really hard to find a cash flowing property out there. Even though I know like Blake Erickson, Preston Tilley, all these guys are like, dude, like you can do it. I just have that limiting belief right now, and that's a big one for me right now, and I know that I need to get over it.
How do you plan on getting over it?
I want to get, and I think I mentioned this in our leadership meeting the other night, I want to get more educated this year in real estate and in, cash flow and in the taxes and in everything along with it. And so that's kind of my plan is I'm just deep diving into a lot of these different things. I want to understand really, I want to there's a difference between people on social media telling you need to buy a house because it cash flows, or telling you need to buy a house because of this tax write-off or tax, you can, cost segregation or whatever. I want to learn those things and kind of master them. Mm-hmm. And I know that's going to hold me back a little bit maybe. It probably is. It's a little bit of analysis by paralysis.
Yeah.
Definitely is. But I just want to understand it fully before I get into something. And so that's holding me back right now. It's a limiting belief of mine. But I'm working hard to overcome it. It's not something that's going to hold me back for a long time. Yeah. And I know that it's easier than I'm making it seem in my head to get into a property.
Yeah.
So.
No, I have those same limiting beliefs. Still in real estate. Like I probably took 4 or 5 months off of not doing any real estate. And so you forget if you can actually do it or not.
Yeah.
But consistently just learning, and I challenge you just to take action in it.
I will.
In something.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool.
Yeah.
So as far as would you say to get over limiting beliefs in the past, what have you done?
So I think goal setting is the start.
Yeah.
Right? Because in our brains, what was the quote yesterday? I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah,
The one that Blake said, because it's massive. And I really like it. I took a picture of it. Okay, so this is the quote he said yesterday. Possibility exists, but limitations are created. And so for me, I think everything's created spiritually before it is physically, right? So Casey Boss talked about that a lot, and we've talked about that before. So you have this idea, right? And you create this idea in your head like, hey, I'm going to sell 300K, or hey, I'm going to make $1 million this year, or whatever it might be. You create that spiritually in your mind. You create that possibility. Okay, the way I've overcome these in the past is I've set a goal, like thought of that idea, put it on paper, and then I've reversed engineer how I'm going to go hit that goal. And then I've just taken massive action every day to hit that thing. That's how I've overcome limiting beliefs in my life. And it's very difficult. And it takes repetition, daily repetition, staying positive and saying, hey, I can actually hit this thing that I'm shooting for. And I love the quote. This is my biggest quote. I probably share it the most, but it's about goal setting. It's Alex Hormozi, one of the GOATs. When he talks about goal setting, he says, set the goal. I'm paraphrasing here, but set the goal and do so much work that it would be unreasonable that you do not hit your goal. Or he says thing when he does his quote, but whatever. He likes the word thing a lot. I like it, but he makes it so simple. So it's like, set whatever that limiting belief is. Whatever your possibility is, think of what you want to do. So I want to make $1 million. Okay, I'm going to do so much work that it would be unreasonable for me not to make $1 million this year. And then it's just execution. So I would say the way to overcome limiting beliefs, believe you can do it, create it spiritually, and then take massive action every single day until you accomplish your thing. Because it's very, very hard to overcome limiting beliefs. And if you're not taking massive daily action, you're not going to overcome it. It's going to remain a limiting belief for you. And so sometimes we think it's easy to overcome limiting beliefs. From my experience, it's very difficult, but it just takes so much work. Like for me, one of the biggest feats I'd say that we did last year is like, dude, we had one team in Cincinnati, and I had this limiting belief that I was a one-team manager. Like I can manage one sales team. And I kind of set this impossible goal, or this limiting belief of mine that I'm a one-team manager. I said, look, I'm going to sign 100 dudes to sell pest control with us. Yeah. And that was a limiting belief. And then I put in so much effort that it would be unreasonable for me not to sign 100 guys. And we signed 200, and we demolished that limiting belief. And I think now it's like you've seen that, like you can sign 100 guys and you're going to sign 100 guys. Maybe you're probably over 100. What are you at right now? I mean, you're massively over that, right?
I think we're at like 110 or something.
Yeah. So it's like, dude, like to think that, I would be able to go do that and then someone on that team could go out and do that. It's like unreal. So that's my biggest example, maybe with a limiting belief that I've overcome in my life. And it just goes back to that quote. Do so much work that it'd be unreasonable that you don't hit your goal. Shout out Hormozi, man.
Hormozi's the GOAT.
Changed my mindset on that for real.
That's cool.
So
that's awesome. As far as vision, I feel like everyone who is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 goes into college, doesn't know what they want to do, gets in debt, and just kind of lost in the world. How do you find vision? Like, how did you find yours to do door-to-door sales, get married, kind of have a plan? How do you find vision for your life?
Yeah, it's really hard to take the long view. I feel like the 18 to 25-year-old range that we're in, guys are so like instant gratification. They're so like what's happening next week, what's happening next month, but not what's happening in a decade. Right. And so I feel like one of my superpowers that I've always had is I feel like I've been a little bit more mature than my age group. I don't know why. I'm the oldest of, there's 5 siblings. I'm the oldest of 5, and maybe that's something to do with it. My dad's a really, I think, mature guy. But I guess the point I'm getting to is the vision that I created for my life. I created it by having a long view and saying, look, I want to have a family. And step 1 of that is to get married. The vision 2 is to be financially free at a young age so I can go serve people and live life by design. Truly, I want to be able to be in complete control and design my life, and everything I do, it needs to be by the design that I've created. And so I think the vision that I've had is I've just been good at that because of the level of maturity that I think I had from early on. I've been good at being able to design my life. And so a big part of that the life that I'm trying to design is being financially free and having an awesome family where we're just like super close, a lot of love. And step one to that was finding Jules and getting married. And so that was an awesome experience. And then, now I have my wife and we're on our way to create that family. The vision's still there.
That's cool.
But the vision is to also, and she has the vision too. That's also a massive thing. You got to find a girl who has that vision. She wants to be financially free. She works her butt off, and she's awesome. And she supports me in me working really, really hard so that we can get to that vision. So,
That's
sorry,
cool.
I got off your question. What was your question? Like, again?
Well, I guess the question is just you're trying to find the vision, but what questions do you ask yourself to actually pull the answers out?
Within vision?
Yeah, like, is it what do I want to accomplish in 5 years? Is it who do I want to be remembered as? Or what are the questions you ask yourself constantly?
I ask my question a lot. Like, what do I want my life to look like in 5-10 years? I honestly ask that question. I ask myself that a lot.
What does it look like in 5 years?
Dude, 5 years from now, and a lot of guys are going to push and say, like, I want to be retired, I want to be a millionaire, whatever. I don't know what it's going to look like 100% in 5 years. But my vision, 5 years from now, we have a couple kids,
Cool.
I want to be in, and have a nice house in 5 years. I want to have hit my goal with like the amount of cash flow that I want per month, because that's like something that I'm pretty clear on.
Yeah.
Is
What's
like
the cash flow?
The cash flow to start, like, I think 25 grand a month, it gets me to where I want to be. I know that's kind of low. That's just like starting point. I think that would be massive. And I've created, the cool part about me, I think, is I've created cash flow monthly in a lot of other ways besides real estate. And I know real estate is king, and I know I need to get into real estate, and I'm getting there. But I've created cash flow in a lot of ways. And so I know in order to get my goal, I need to get real estate, and we're getting there. But I've created cash flow in a lot of ways, and I've been creative to get cash flow. And there's other things. There's other businesses that I invest in, other businesses I'm looking to invest in that are going to create cash flow. So 5 years, couple kids, in a house, hit the cash flow goal, and I'm doing what I want to do. I can see myself still rolling with what we're doing here in 5 years. I could see myself having started the business that I want to start, and that's what's bringing in the income. But I don't see myself retired in 5 years, but I see that, and I see myself having the time and freedom to be able to put in the time with the family and do the things that we need to travel, whatever that looks like, and serve others in 5 years. So,
That's a baller.
we're on the path to do that.
That's cool. No, you're going to be a legend.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my next question for you, as far as like marriage, you get married at 21.
Yeah.
Why so young?
Good question. I found the right person for me, and I didn't want to wait. You know. I got back from my mission. I was 19 when I got back from my mission, which is a little bit unique. Most guys, and I finished my mission. The reason why I was 19 is because of COVID-19, and so a couple of missionaries, we came home at like 20 months because the virus hit, and they didn't reassign us. So I was in a unique situation where I was super young coming off a mission. Like my brother, he's on a mission right now in Alaska. He left when he was 19.
Alaska.
Yeah, he was 19 when he left, and he's going to come back at 21. So I was 19. I was super young to come back from a mission. I turned 20, though, shortly after my first summer of sales. And then after I got back from my first summer of sales, I just started dating a ton. It was August, September, October. Dated a ton of girls. My goal was literally to go on a date, like, I don't know, like every night. I just wanted to meet as many girls as I could. And I found Jules 3 months after I got to BYU and started going to school. And it was just different with her. And, things, we hung out first night. It wasn't even a date. She just showed up with a couple friends at the townhouse I was living in. And from there, it's just, I don't know, it's just awesome. And we dated for a whole year. She stuck with me through a summer. We dated for actually like 15 months. Then we got married. So I think getting married was really important to me. Again, I feel like I've had a higher level of maturity than a lot of guys my age group growing up, and also when I got married too. So I felt like it was the right move for me to make, and yeah, it's been great.
That's cool.
I think that getting married has helped me progress in my career a lot more too, because now it's like, dude, I have someone to support.
Yeah.
It's not just about me anymore, and so I've taken my career a lot more seriously, and I recommend it to guys who are in an age group. Get married young, as long as it's the right girl for you. Like, make sure that it's the right girl, but get married young, because and get married to someone who has the same vision as you. Because if you're married with someone who has the same vision as you, she's gonna push you to work harder than you would on your own. You almost have like a 24/7 accountability partner. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and I hold her accountable to her goals too. And we just it's a new year, and so we sat down and designed 2024, what we want 2024 to look like as a couple.
Yeah.
And man, it fired me up, dude. It's like, she's got some awesome goals. I got some awesome goals. We want to do some awesome things this year, and I probably wouldn't have been as fired up if I did that alone.
Huh. What's the one big thing you're going to accomplish this year? Or the one impossible thing that scares you?
The one thing that I'm going to accomplish this year is we're going to go out and we're going to do 10 million as a group. Pox Elevate's going to do 10 million in revenue this year. And I cannot wait for it to happen, and I'm going to contribute to that, leading from the front sales-wise, and it feels impossible because, it's more than double what we did last year. And it scares me.
We did 4 million last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than double what we did.
Matt's doing a golden door. So
Matt's doing a golden door. Matt's going to do it alone. So that scares me. Like, there's a lot of things that scare me about that. But I put in more work this year than I did last year.
Yeah.
And I feel like the group that we have is better trained, and people are taking more accountability than they were last year.
Yeah. What's the most amount of money you've made doing door-to-door sales?
The most amount of money I've made, we'll see this year.
Okay.
But last year I made $200,000 doing door-to-door sales.
In 4 months.
In 4 months, yeah, 4 or 5 months. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Making that amount, and it's really cool because I love the door-to-door space, but a lot of people within the door-to-door space are like, hey, I'm gonna get the new car or whatever.
Yeah.
My focus has always been creating a gap where my living expenses stay the same, but my earnings go up. And so the bigger that gap is wealth. And so that gap, taking it and investing it and applying it and putting it in other places and living below my means has always been my mindset within door-to-door. And so I'm super blessed to have made the amount of money I made within door-to-door. And I've had some really good years. Even before I made $200,000, I had some really good years. And I've been able to save a lot of it and invest a lot of it and use a lot of it to do good. And that money's going to create a life for me. So me and my family are able to go out and do good things and serve others.
If someone if their goal is to go out and make multiple six figures in a year, what should they know? Like, what does it really take to make $200,000-300,000 in a short period of time?
It's dang hard.
Yeah.
Accept that. But I think that the biggest thing they should know is, I'm going to go back to the Alex Hormozy quote.
Yeah.
Just do so much work that it'll be unreasonable. Like, set a goal, what you want to hit, and then just do so much work that it'll be unreasonable for you not to get there. And that's all I've ever done within that space, within door-to-door. And just know that, summers are the hardest time of the year. Every summer seems to get harder too, as you continue to manage more people, or as you continue to sell more. It just gets harder and harder. It doesn't get easier. Because there's just more things there.
Is money everything?
No, money's not everything.
No. What else is important to you?
Family's number one. Well, God's number one. Family's number two. And I'd probably put finances number three.
Yeah.
But my relationship with God is what drives me, and then my relationship with my wife and my family.
What does
as
God
well.
do for you though? Like your relationship with Him. What does that do to drive you, or what have you learned from just having a close relationship with God? Because I feel like I don't have it that much, really.
Yeah. I think it's really important to be spiritually aligned with whatever form of deity that you worship, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like, whether it's Jesus Christ or God the Father or whoever, that is. But for me, having a relationship with God the Father and, being able to have the faith that when I pray that I know that He's listening and someone's there.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so many stories and examples in my life of times that I have felt God's love for me as an individual. And so that's so important to me.
Mm-hmm.
It might seem cliche to feel loved by someone, but to know that He's there and that He loves us is some of the most important truths one of the most important truths that I've come to know and I've seen others come to know on earth. And I also think that coming to know that we have a Savior, Jesus Christ, who died for us and has felt everything that we've felt.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety, depression, pain, it doesn't matter. And for every person that's been on this earth, He's felt it all. And so in any moment that I'm in, I know that I have someone by my side who's felt that and can take that pain away, right? He bears our burdens.
Mm-hmm.
And that relationship has done so much for me.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, one of my big goals this year is to get closer with God. Trying to go to church every week.
Good.
Try to pray every day.
Good. It's awesome. It's
Yeah.
so good.
That's cool. I felt it a lot on the doors this last summer.
Yeah.
Like for me to go hit big numbers, well, not even that big, but okay numbers. I felt like there was no way I could have done it without someone just watching over me and keeping me in the attitude and the consistency that I had to be in.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely changed my life in this last summer and just trying to keep that. I feel like a lot of times too, the most growth comes from just being uncomfortable. What do you do right now to stay uncomfortable?
It's a good question. I try to not say no to things that will get me uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
There's always opportunities like that, and we do a lot of recruiting in our job right now, and any opportunity that I see within recruiting or anything that I think will drive that, I'm going to say yes to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that keeps me pretty uncomfortable. My big ambitious recruiting goals keep me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Right. So my goals keep me uncomfortable, and the daily actions that I need to take within those goals keep me uncomfortable. And I think too, just having for a long time I was okay with not working out every day. In the past, and this year, well, since the end of last summer and up until now, and it continues to be my focus, is just 6 days a week I need to work out. And so that's been uncomfortable for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got married and kind of slacked off a little bit. And that was really bad, and that's not me. And so realigning with my health goals has been uncomfortable for me. And it still is still a battle to work out every day, to do something.
What has it done as far as like for your health, for you to?
For my health, I feel awesome.
Yeah.
I feel a lot better. I can run up and down a basketball court and stay in shape. So
I'm on this no sugar diet with Blake.
Yeah.
And it's actually I've never felt this good about myself.
Really?
From just not eating crap all the time.
That's good.
Yeah. You should do it.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Matt's doing the 7-day here soon.
That's insane. Fasting for 7 days is unreal.
Can you do it?
I think I could. I think I could, but it would be a challenge for sure, and it would get me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be enjoyable at all. I'd hate it, but I could do it.
Should we do a 7-day fast next week?
Oh man, I'm not going to commit to that on camera.
All right, sounds good. Well, dude, no. My last question for you, as far as you, Peter Douglas, you have 5 years now, and we'll do another podcast. But what is one big thing that's like, all right, this has to be established within 5 years?
For me?
Yeah.
Give me a sec. That's a good question. it's hard for me to answer because 5 years from now I'll be 28.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm still in my 20s. Like I don't. If I'm gonna sit here and stay established, like my career won't be established at that point. I'm 28. Like it's gonna change. Like my finances are gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say two things, and I think, I don't know, almost like a theme of this podcast and something that I've talked about a bunch has been God and family. Those two things have to remain to be established and have to remain to be my priority in 5 years. Everything else will fall into place. Right?
Yeah.
We're all at the mercy of God and His plan for us, and as far as the number one thing that I want established in 5 years is I want my relationship with God and Jesus Christ, Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, to still be intact, and that still be my priority.
Cool.
And then I want my relationship with my wife to be stronger than ever, and I want to have started a family at age 28. So as far as like what I want established in 5 years, that's truly what's most important to me.
Yeah.
The finances will come. I'm a grinder. I will always, like, I have always found a way to be financially okay.
Yeah.
And above my means. And, you know, we have investments and things that'll get us there. And there's always opportunities. And I think having an abundant mindset, there's infinite opportunity for me to go make money. And there's, within this space too, infinite amount of people that I can work with and sales that I can go make within the pest control space. So
Cool.
that's my answer. I know it might not be what you're looking for,
No, it's
but
good.
That's personally what's most important to me.
Cool. No, those are all my questions, Pete. I
All right.
appreciate you being here. This is awesome.
I appreciate it. This was fun.